So this is my advice for all beginner landscape photographers or anybody that's just starting out, or even photographers that have been in the game for a while. It's just stuff that has taken me a while to learn and that would have saved me a lot of time, a lot of mental agony, just a lot of bullshit in general if I had known it 5 or 6 years ago. My name is Dave Morrow. 9 months of each year, I live out of my vehicle. I travel the wilderness by foot on an endless backpacking and landscape photography trip. I want to teach and share the photography and outdoor skills that I use on these trips. I don't want to spend hours editing video or sitting in front of a computer, so I made some rules. First, everything's shot on GoPro. This was the best way I found to record quickly on a consistent basis. Second, I can only spend 20 minutes editing each video. So thanks for watching, and welcome to the Landscape Photography Journals. So here we go. I'll just start out and go through these randomly. First things first, when you're starting out, don't start any social media accounts. Just turn social media off. You can use it once you get better and better at your craft later, if you determine to do so. But it's a whole lot of noise, and it's a whole lot of downside without much upside. You can get the same photography interactions by just meeting a few friends, and you can do that any way you like, but meet a few friends and go out and shoot with them and critique each other's work that way. Social is just going to waste your time, and most of all, waste your mental energy. You can check out my other video on social media if you're more interested in that, but that's my first piece of advice. Give it 5 years while you're perfecting your craft. Second piece of advice, start a website now and start posting to it regularly. Start writing about things you care about and make yourself a better writer. Make yourself able to say things in a clear and concise manner that people can understand no matter what background they have, and allow yourself to convey information that you care about in that way. And if you do that over the long term, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you're going to grow a large body of work that talks about stuff you really care about, and that'll allow you to grow a group of people around you that care about the same thing because they found your work and they're inspired by it. So you can surround yourself with good people instead of people that are like a lot of people on social media, just looking for attention. So by putting your work out there and getting better at it and writing about it, you can put a filter and easily search for people that you mesh with and spread ideas together and make each other better photographers. The next thing on top of that is, by writing, you're going to learn to perfect your craft or what you're good at. By constantly writing out the steps, by making it clear and concise, you're going to break down the skills that you actually use, and you're going to make them better because you're going to throw out all the bullshit. You're going to say, oh, I could do this better, but I didn't see that until I was actually writing it out. So by teaching, you learn. Everybody that says those cannot do teach are full of shit. Teaching makes me a better photographer than just shooting constantly ever would. Mixing them both together will help you to improve your craft and become very good at speaking to people about it as well, which will help you out. When you're just on social media posting pictures every day, you're just a cycle. You can be replicated by a robot in the future. You're doing the same thing without any thinking involved. But when you have to write what you care about and you do it on a consistent basis, you're constantly creating knowledge for yourself, and you're creating a body of work, I should say, on a website that you actually own. So you're not building somebody else's platform. Now, if you want to add on to talking and teaching people what you're doing, talking about things you're passionate about, another great way to do it besides writing is making videos. And at first, videos can be nerve-wracking, but just like writing, making videos has made me so much better at the craft of photography than I ever would have gotten without it. So I actually teach myself before I teach it back to you guys, because if I didn't know it very well, I couldn't put it back to you guys in a way that made sense. So work on your craft all the time. Work on things that teach your craft, teaching other people what you're passionate about. But the key to all of this is that if you're into photography, you need to learn how to differentiate yourself. Everybody can go to the hot spots and shoot. Anybody can jump in a plane. Anybody can get a rental car. It's expensive, but if you got the cash, you can drive and fly to the hot spots. Horseshoe Bend, South Rim, Grand Canyon, Oregon coast, anything else that people constantly go and shoot the same compositions at. That's easy. Eventually in the future, if companies want those shots, they'll send a robot out to do it. There's like 4 steps in the algorithm. You can be replaced. So if you want to differentiate yourself for the next 20, 30 years of photography, start learning how to get out here, how to find unique compositions, how to backpack into areas, how to be self-sufficient, how to read topo maps, how to pack your bag, and how to take care of yourself. Because if you're interested in landscape photography, trust me, nothing is going to get you more excited than designing a complete backpacking trip, 10 or 15 days long, through an area with no trails, huge mountains, huge valleys, old growth forest in all directions. And then going out there and having the skills and the self-awareness and the ability to take care of yourself every day, as well as find shots that nobody's shot before. The ability to do that will give you a confidence in yourself that you'll be able to speak to me or anybody else more clearly about it, and you'll be able to tell them why you really care, because you don't just care about taking the photos, you care about the entire process, the whole process of creativity and going to new places and getting out there and using your brain every day to not only survive, but to pick new compositions. And if you can do that, the self-confidence of that is going to replicate into your photography skills. It's also going to replicate into your writing. Anything you have to say to people will be much more confident. Not in a cocky way, but in a way that says, I can take care of myself. I don't need your help. I can ask for help if I want to learn from a professional or an expert, but I'm not asking for free handouts from you because I'm self-sufficient. I can take care of myself. And that will go along with a website that says, I can take care of myself. I'm an expert in this field, and I'd like to teach you how to do it too. So you can always live this same life if you choose to do so. So I'm not saying that method is for everybody, but I'm telling you it works, and it'll always be something you can work on no matter what. You can work on your craft of shooting. You can work on the craft of outdoor skills, the craft of scouting online, learning to read topo maps, learning to read weather, learning to do everything else that you need to get out here and take real landscape shots. So you'll never become bored. I just found myself getting bored with just getting on an airplane, going to a photography hotspot, standing next to 30 people shooting the same spot, and going to a hotel. But out here, man, I feel fucking alive every day, because I know I'm gonna see new stuff. I know there's gonna be adrenaline. I know there's gonna be problem solving. I know there's gonna be creativity. And I know I have so much stuff to learn that I just don't ever wanna stop doing it. And if you find yourself bored, or you're not passionate about photography anymore, or you feel like it's not for you, maybe you just need to change how you're doing it and change the skill levels that lead up to doing it. Because the more challenging you make something, the more you challenge yourself, and the more you overcome those challenges, the better off you'll be for it, and the better you can differentiate yourself, your craft of photography, and your business in the future. And overall, you'll do better for it. People will want to learn from you. So the last and the most important thing, you have to constantly work on your craft. Craft meaning you're an expert at not only your camera, but all the settings and the science behind those settings. What's actually working with photons and light and electrons, how it works within your camera, so you can visualize it. And when you're out in the field shooting, you're never questioning why things are working like they're working in your camera. You're a master of the camera, the tool, and the technology. You know what's going on and you're confident. So once again, goes back to the confidence thing. When you have confidence, in your camera and your photography ability, because you practice it all the time, you will get better shots because you'll be confident you're gonna do the right thing. You will stop second guessing yourself and you will go create art. You will go create new photos, whatever else you want. So the same goes for photo editing. Now, I'm not a huge fan of photo editing. I force myself to do it, but I know that I need to be a good photo editor if I want to edit landscape shots. So when I'm home and if I'm not out on trips, I get up at 5 a.m. and I put a 4-hour timer on my stopwatch and I edit photos. Now when I come out of that, I'm gonna have some I don't like and some I do like. I'm gonna have more I don't like than the ones I do like. But if I do that every day, the ones I do like will pile up. And over time, even playing that small percentage game of like 1%, all the photos I take, 1% go in the portfolio, if that. But if those 1% keep adding up because you're constantly editing photos, then you're gonna have a nice portfolio. You're gonna get better at editing photos. And usually, for me, the better I get at something, the more I wanna do it. So if I can get better at editing photos, I can control the whole ecosystem within the photo better. I'm more interested in perfecting the craft and getting better. So constant practice with that stuff. So hopefully that helped you guys out. I'm not gonna go back through them the whole way, but if you wanna listen to the video again, you can. This isn't a top 10 tips for a better life where I'm gonna recap everything. It's tips that if you wanna use them and integrate them, you can make a living off of landscape photography. You can make a living without social media. You can make a living without selling prints. You don't even need to teach any workshops. 1 or 2 might suffice. But if you can teach people the betterment of yourself and your craft and how you're going about it, and don't be a dick about it, then people will want to learn from you and they'll be inspired by you and they will follow you and learn themselves. So with that repetitive cycle, you can make a living. You can inspire people to make a living for themselves. So that's my goal with these kind of videos. So hopefully you guys like them. I'm headed up to scout a spot for tonight's shoot. I'll probably record another video then. See you guys then.